For centuries, the idea of making gold from ordinary materials has fascinated humanity. From ancient alchemists in candlelit chambers to modern-day scientists in high-tech labs, the dream of conjuring gold out of thin air has never truly died. But why do 99% of scientists still say making gold in a lab is impossible? Is it just stubborn skepticism, or is there real science behind the doubt? Well, imagine trying to turn peanut butter into pizza. It sounds ridiculous, right? That's because, at a fundamental level, you're dealing with completely different ingredients, different structures, and different rules. The atoms in peanut butter simply aren't arranged the way they are in pizza. And in the same way, the atoms in lead or any other common material aren't arranged like those in gold. The transformation isn't just a matter of mixing things up, it's about changing the very building blocks of matter. But now, in a twist that sounds straight out of science fiction, a bold US startup claims that fusion technology, the same process that powers the sun, could finally crack the code. They're not talking about medieval magic or sleight of hand. They're talking about harnessing the most powerful forces in the universe to do what was once thought impossible. Here's the scoop. This ambitious startup is on a mission to use nuclear fusion, the process that makes stars shine, to turn ordinary elements into actual gold. It's a quest that's as audacious as it is groundbreaking. Imagine for a moment the power of a star, bottled up in a laboratory, being used not just to generate energy, but to create one of the world's most coveted metals. Think of it as alchemy for the 21st century, but instead of bubbling cauldrons and cryptic symbols, we're talking about giant lasers, swirling plasma, and scientific instruments that cost more than a mansion. The scale of the technology is mind-boggling. These aren't your average chemistry sets. These are machines designed to replicate the conditions at the heart of a star. The startup's pitch is deceptively simple. Smash atomic nuclei together with enough force and precision that, for a split second, the universe's rules bend and new elements are born. In this case, they want to start with something cheap and abundant, maybe even something as mundane as lead, and end up with pure, gleaming gold. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The reality is far more complex. Achieving fusion is like playing atomic Jenga at 1,000,000,000 degrees. Every move is a delicate balance, and one wrong step can bring the whole thing crashing down. The temperatures and pressures required are so extreme that only a handful of labs in the world have even come close to sustaining fusion for more than a few seconds. Picture a game of Jenga, but instead of wooden blocks you're dealing with atomic nuclei, and instead of a living room, you're inside a chamber hotter than the core of the sun. The stakes are astronomical, and the margin for error is razor thin. And here's the kicker. Even the world's most advanced fusion labs struggle just to break even on energy. Most of the time, they pour in more power than they get out. Creating gold isn't just a side quest, it's a whole new level of difficulty. The process requires not only sustaining fusion but also precisely controlling which elements are created in the chaos. So, why bother? For one, the scientific challenge is irresistible. If you could master this process, you'd be rewriting the rules of chemistry and physics. But there's also the allure of gold itself, a symbol of wealth, beauty, and power for thousands of years. The idea of making it on demand is almost too tempting to ignore. But let's talk economics. Even if you could make gold in a lab, would it be worth it? The cost of the equipment, the energy, the research, it all adds up. Right now, a single gold bar from a bank is probably cheaper than what it would cost to make 1 atom of gold in a fusion reactor. The process is so resource-intensive that, for now, it's more of a scientific curiosity than a practical business. But imagine a future where the impossible becomes routine. What if one day scientists could whip up gold as easily as popping popcorn? The implications would be staggering. Gold would no longer be rare. It could be manufactured on demand, changing the very foundation of our economy and society. The jewelry industry would be turned upside down. Gold prices could collapse overnight. The metal that once launched empires and inspired legends would become just another commodity, churned out by machines in sterile labs. Picture jewelry stores that look more like science labs, with technicians in lab coats crafting custom gold pieces on the spot. The mystique of gold would fade, replaced by the marvel of human ingenuity. Of course, not everyone is convinced. Some say this is just the latest hype train in a long line of scientific moonshots. Others believe it could spark a revolution, not just in gold production but in how we think about matter itself. The debate is fierce and the stakes are high. So what do you think? Is this the dawn of a new scientific era, or just another shiny promise that will fade away? Would you bet your money on a startup chasing the dream of gold from thin air? Let us know in the comments. Would you invest in a gold-making fusion startup, or do you think it's all just smoke and mirrors? Your opinion could be part of the next big conversation in science and technology. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more mind-blowing science stories. Who knows what will turn into gold next? Maybe the next big breakthrough is just around the corner, waiting for someone bold enough to try. Stay curious and keep watching as we explore the frontiers of what's possible.